Alright, boys. Are you guys looking for the legendary supplemental damage 5 plus? Well, just some important information just recently dropped right now, and basically, this kind of details the whole information about kind of the mechanics behind the Curio loot drop rates. Let's start off by saying that there's two main concepts that we need to kind of understand. And the first thing is the groupings. The items that you obtain from Curios are based on what group you are. Now, for majority of the people, and especially if you're watching this video, you are likely have unlocked proud mode. Pretty much everyone that has decided to farm Curios are in proud mode. If you're not, go unlock that, right? That's basically the number one thing. But basically, being in a particular group will determine what kind of drop you get. Another thing is there's 4 different types of Curios. There's a tier 1 Curio, there's a tier 2 Curio, tier 3 Curio, tier 4. So not all the Curios that we get are the same. But just in general though, what we really want is basically we need this Curio tier 4. At the end of the day, it is still very rare to get this. Apparently, whenever you get a Curio box, there's a 3% chance that it is a tier 4. And I've extracted some kind of information based on the loot information that this thing has posted, and I'll link to the link for this one. To break it down, in a hard mode, whenever you clear a hard mode, there's a 1.5% chance to get a tier 4 Curio. It still is consistent with the 3% chance whenever you get a Curio, because half of the time, actually, the drop rate on hard mode is 50%. And then on the very hard mode, the drop rate is 60% that you get a Curio. And so the chance of you getting a tier 4 Curio is 1.8%. And then on extreme, the chance of you getting a Curio is tier 4 Curio is 2.1%, and then Maniac 2.4%, and then on Proud it's 3%. There's a 100% drop rate of you getting a Curio whenever you clear Proud, and basically in Maniac there's 80% drop rate. 20% of it has nothing. So that's kind of like the general idea. That's like the TLDR of it. You can look into here if you're curious, like, you know, at the other drop rates and everything. You could do just Control F on it. But the biggest thing why I really mentioned that Curio tier 4 is what we really just care about is because if you search in this drop rate and you look for supplementary damage, there is only one instance of it, and this is only at the section where it's Curio tier 4 group number 5. So everyone is on group number 5, and Curio tier 4 is basically supplementary damage V+. And in fact, if you actually look into this is where pretty much all the additional high rare sigils that are here that are V+, right? Stronghold V+, Power Hungry V+, Untouchable plus, Less is More plus, Head Start plus, Berserker plus. And if you actually like try to search, you know, the other ones do exist there, but not the plus versions. The plus versions only exist in the tier 4. And looking into this, the reason why you are probably not getting that supplementary damage is it is 0.3% chance of you getting a supplementary damage once that tier 4 Curio drop on you. So whenever you gain a Curio, it's 3% chance to get a tier 4, and then you multiply it by 0.3% chance that you will get a supplementary V+. It is 0.009% chance for you to get a supplementary V+ whenever you get a Curio. But what is good with knowing this kind of percentage, it kind of helped me at least figure out in a kind of mathematical formula how I want, which one is kind of like the better way to farm for me. Because at the very least, I can just like multiply it and try to figure out how long does it take for me to get a T4. And I'm looking at the each of the difficulty levels. I tried to calculate which ones kind of work out for me in particular. You might have to look at each of the bosses for different difficulties, which one is really good for you. But what I found to be the best is the Extreme Galanza battle. I did try to calculate whether if it's like I'm autoing or I'm manualing, how long does it take for the fight, and then how long are the loading screens and the loading times. I kind of like included those in the calculations. And then the sad part is if I'm autoing, it takes roughly about 2 hours for me in Extreme Galanza just to get a tier 4, a single tier 4 Curio. And then in Maniac Golem, it takes 2 hours also. There are 103 minutes for Extreme Galanza, and Maniac is 7,500 seconds, which is like 2 hours also. And if I do choose to try to manual it, it is faster for me to loot in the battle's results screen. And what does come out to me is that Galanza kind of just is faster, but obviously there's a lot more other factors to it. If you want to farm other things alongside, like the Centrum for example, then it might be worth farming the Maniac Golem instead. Or if you want to farm other things in the Proud mode, then that's another thing, right? Like you can do two things at once. But for me in particular, all I really just need is the Supplementary V plus, and I just really want to see it. Yeah, one of the reasons why I think the Extreme Galanza really works out really fast is because he rushes towards you at the very beginning, and then your AI is just kind of controlling it. And because of you can actually do a full assist on the selection options when you are in extreme mode. This is actually pretty helpful. And then just select, your best geared characters. And wow, just looking at it, it takes 286 hours. Because my fastest right now is doing this Galanza. And it takes 286 hours for me to, on average, should get a Supplementary 5 plus. And by the way, I still have not